Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm a child psychiatrist, parent coach, and educator, and I'm also a mum. And I'm doing a series of videos which are all about supporting your children to get back to school because it's been a really difficult time. They're going back to school after a really long time off, and school is not exactly as we're used to. It's extra rules, extra things to think about, and some children are going to find that difficult. Some children will be absolutely fine with that, but I know that some of them will find that a little bit odd and a little bit difficult. That's exactly why I've created these videos and blog posts. And because I think this will evolve and we will get to know more and more about exactly what's bothering our kids, I'm also going to be doing a live on the 28th. The live will be happening in the Facebook group, which is part of the page. It's a free group. Please feel free to join it. It is private, and that's why I want to keep it so that people can have discussions in there. If you join that and join me for the live, you can ask me questions, can interact, and I can hopefully answer some stuff and help you, anything that was going to help you and your kids have a decent time of it. Because I think as they go into school and have spent a few more weeks there, maybe some more things will be coming up, which is exactly why I've planned it. So please do come along for that live, and I'm really looking forward to answering some proper questions. And today I'll be thinking about anxiety because I think that's something that's been worrying everyone. There's a lot of anxiety in the air, and I think our kids going back to school, what they're experiencing as well is the teachers' anxiety, our anxieties, and also just the fact that everything is different. There's all sorts of rules, and I really wanted to talk through how you can support them in that. Number one thing really about the anxiety is that I think it's quite normal for this time period. I think everyone, almost everyone, is anxious to a degree, probably a bit more so than they would be if COVID hadn't happened and if we hadn't had all that time off. It is always very odd starting back into a routine, and if you've been feeling like it's been tough to start going with things, to get going, to be doing the normal things that you used to do before COVID, and that's quite normal, and your children will probably be finding that as well. And they might be sort of struggling to want to go back to the way that things were, having more freedom, maybe having more time out. Especially if your child was quite anxious in the first place, it might have been that that quiet time at home when there weren't a lot of things that they had to worry about and do was actually quite a good time. It was quite a positive time for them because there weren't all those pressures. So I think the first thing to think with them is there anything that you want to do that was similar to what you were doing during COVID? Perhaps if they were less anxious during that time, but are now more anxious because there's more things that they're expected to do. Is really thinking, is there, do we need to decompress? Are we doing too many things? Is there anything that can be taken out at least for a while? And obviously, school is there, but often there's extracurricular things as well that are there. So it's just thinking, is there anything that we can get rid of, even if it is just for a short period of time, just to help my child go in stages towards the kind of full life they were leading before? And maybe even review if that's what they would like, if they would like to be as busy as they used to be before, or whether actually having had a period of time when things were less busy, they would like to continue with that. So maybe just checking in with them and checking whether they want to be returning to the life that you're trying to return to now. I know for some older children, the worry will really be about the future, about exams, about whether they should go to university and those kinds of things, and how long this uncertainty is going to last for. And I think uncertainty, unfortunately, is here to stay, as increasingly we're sort of understanding that that uncertainty is not going to go away. And in that situation, it's really thinking with your kids in a more long term way. So, helping them think through that the whole world is going to be adjusting to these different anxieties, worries, and also different ways of being. And that systems are going to have to change in order to accommodate them because so many children are affected by the same thing when it comes to exams and university and that kind of thing. And it's really helping them see that there is a bigger picture and it's not just them having to sort it out for themselves, but that there's so many different people dealing with it right now that there's going to have to be adjustments to wider systems that will allow them to still, get into university, for example, or to defer their entry and to do all those different things. There will be different things that will come out that will make sense later on. And it's, I think, having that faith. So if they are worried for those future things, it's about you having some faith that those things will resolve, rather than fanning the flames of those worries, which can sometimes happen if we're worried ourselves. It's really having that faith, keeping that faith, and reminding them of that, and just bringing them back to helping them see the bigger picture. If you have a child who's worrying about little things, whether it's just lots and lots of tiny stuff, for example, if they're starting to get ready for school, and little things are worrying them about what they haven't done at school, if they've forgotten something, kind of very intrusive sort of worries, and perhaps they're asking you for a lot of reassurance. The other thing I always talk to parents about is maybe not getting into the cycle of reassurance, because the more we reassure our kids in terms of, yes, you have done that, yes, you have brought that, it won't matter that you haven't brought that, it can become something they start to rely on. So they start to rely on our reassurance. So I always recommend to parents that you can maybe reassure once or twice, but certainly if you're sort of doing it lots and lots of times over the same thing, then I really wouldn't go over it lots of times, because they basically become very used to you having to do that all the time. Whereas actually with those very small things, so looking kind of everyday little task type stuff that's worrying them, then it's really helping them get through that worry, get through that anxiety. Like if, for example, they're worrying that, they're not sure they've put exactly everything they need for school, it's saying to them, well, first of all, you can check that. If you've already checked that, then that's okay. You've taken it. Let's just get to bed, and then tomorrow morning go to school, and then actually you will see that it was okay. So it's helping them sort of not check things lots and lots of time and get into that pattern, because that pattern can be really difficult to break later. So stepping away from the reassurance. So those are the kind of 3 anxiety things that I've been thinking about. If your child is worrying about things, or anxious about things that are happening in school that are a bit different, please, do pop onto the live, bring it along. We can talk through these different things and see if there's anything we can kind of come up with that will hopefully support your child. So hopefully I will see you there on the 28th.